Welcome to the Thriving Immigrant Podcast with Paul Adeyeye. This is where we share powerful stories of resilience, reinvention, transformation, and success. So, whether you are a new immigrant, navigating a new life, or an aspiring entrepreneur looking for inspiration, this podcast is for you. Join me as we dive into real conversations with incredible individuals who have turned challenges into opportunities. Let's learn, grow, and thrive together. Cheers to a life of abundance. Welcome to another episode of the Thriving Immigrant Podcast. I'm excited to be with you today. My name is Paul Adeyeye. I'm glad and I'm thrilled about today's conversation. I'm going to be speaking with a remarkable young man. He's a founder of 2 startups. He left Nigeria about 3 years ago and is in the US. And you know how US is the dream country for a lot of people. So his name is Tersoo Hulugh. Tersoo Hulugh is going to introduce himself, but for now, I just want to say welcome, Tersoo, to the Thriving Immigrant Podcast.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you are welcome. My first question is always, how did you find yourself in the US?
That's a really interesting question because I actually, in 2023, my wife got a fully funded scholarship to study for her master's in South Dakota State University. And she left Nigeria on the 31st of December 2022 and arrived on January 1st, 2023.
Great.
So yeah, and she started her master's program, and I now traveled to the US in 2023 on the 10th of March, where I was just coming to visit. You know, we got married in 2022, and that was the first time she was leaving. A few months after our marriage, she was leaving Nigeria. So I really wanted us to have our first anniversary. It was coming up in March and together. So I was like, okay, let me just go to the US and make that special. So I applied for a dependent visa, an F2 visa, and then I traveled to the US. So I got to the US. We spent the anniversary together. I took her out. We had so much fun. And eventually, her department had an event, and I went there with her, and I met so many professors, and we got talking. And, you know, who are you? What do you do? They have a lot of questions when they see strangers. So I got talking to a professor, and he was like, hey, I think you'll be a good fit for our operations management program. How about you put in an application, you know? So I was like, really? I said, okay, I'll check it out. So I did. I checked out the program, and I saw that the program was really nice. And I just put in an application, and voila, I got the admission. And after that, I am now applied to the US immigration to change my status from a dependent visa to an F1 visa, which is a student visa. And I got the approval very quickly. And I started school in 2024, January, which is spring. And yeah, and now I'm doing my master's in operations management here at South Dakota State University.
Oh, wow. Your story is just it's so interesting because when you were coming to the US, you probably didn't know you wouldn't go back. And anyway, you applied for dependent visa, but you didn't plan to study, right? Everything just
No,
happened
yeah, actually, the plan was to come and stay 3 weeks, you know, spend the anniversary with her and
and
all
go
that.
back home.
So yeah, and go back because I was working for a company and we were working on so many projects, you know, so I had to come back. But when I got the offer, I spoke to my CEO and he was like, yeah, this is a good package, you know.
Opportunity.
You should do it and we'll support you. And the knowledge you're going to acquire is also going to help the company when you come back. So
Hopefully,
why not? Yeah. did I say?
Hopefully you do go back. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Right.
hopefully.
So are you saying that you've not gone back at all since that 2023 that you moved to the US? Have you gone back to Nigeria?
No, no, I haven't. I haven't gone back because school
Became
and
yes.
school has been so demanding. You know how school is here. It's way different from how our education is back home.
Yeah.
It's back to back. And during the summer of last year, I actually took up a job at one of the centers in my institution at South Dakota State University. So I had to work all through the summer for them. It was a really interesting project. They are called the Mesonet, and they are responsible for deploying weather monitoring stations across the state of South Dakota. So where I'm staying, and I was part of that project. We deployed 35 stations across the state. So it was a huge opportunity for me to travel around the state. I went
Hmm.
to so many small towns, and it was really, really an amazing experience.
Interesting. So your wife got a fully funded scholarship from Nigeria to the US.
Yeah,
And it always fascinates me when I hear people coming to this part of the world with full scholarship. It's like it's a no-brainer. So congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to
thank
her.
you.
And
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about the differences in studying your experience so far, but I think you touched on it a little bit. I was going to ask, what are the significant differences that you've seen between studying in Nigeria and studying in the US?
Wow. The differences are huge. The the focus, I would say, first of all, from the infrastructure, the learning environment is way different from what we have back home in Nigeria.
Hmm.
The environment is serene. It's peaceful. It's The infrastructure is world class. The classrooms are smart, and we don't have power issues. Like we have back home. The professors are very respectful. They are always, in fact, most of the professors at South Dakota State University have an open door policy
Hmm.
where you just walk in. You don't need to book an appointment. Yeah, they have official meeting times, but you just walk in. You have questions, they're always willing to help. They go over and beyond to help you achieve your goals, you know. So it's a different environment from what we have back home, where our education is not directly connected to real life,
Hmm.
and what we learn sometimes it's absolute, it's already outdated before we even graduate, and those are the issues that I feel exist in our own educational institutions. And those are the gaps, those
Hmm.
are the differences, the teaching style, infrastructure, environment, and all that. Those are the differences.
Yeah, you made a lot of very valid points in a very casual way. And I don't want us to dig deeper, but you made very, very interesting points. And thank you. Thank you for sharing all that. I feel like it's a privilege when you have the opportunity to experience both sides because sometimes you just feel like your experience is the best experience because you've not had the opportunity to see life from a different light. Now I imagine some professors back home, like they studied all through, did everything. Some of them are teaching things that are no longer relevant.
Yeah.
And even the cultural differences, the way we do, the way we study back home, like you talked about lecturers being very respectful. I struggled with that because I went to school in Canada too. So I struggled with that for a while. I was like, the way you say hi, just say hi to your lecturer. Hi. What? Say hi to your lecturer?
Yeah.
Like things like that can be seen as being rude or being disrespectful, but that's just the way of life. Then it took me back to one particular lecturer that taught me in 300 level. It came from the US. It was completely different. It was very warm. It was like everybody was wondering what was going on. Are you sure you're a lecturer? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I was going to ask you about Maxify and Scholar, right? That's the name of the
Yeah.
second startup. Did you
Yeah.
have these companies before moving, or was it when you moved to the US that you founded these two startups?
Well, I established Maxify in 2019, and Scholar was bettered from my experience and the experience of my wife when we were navigating the study abroad journey. And we felt we had, more like a complete experience of the entire process. So, and I could see so many people struggle.
Mm,
And I was like, okay. And to add to that, I'm studying operations management, which means optimizing processes. And I felt the reason why so many scholars or people who have dreams of achieving world class education fail to do so is because the process is way too stressful, is way too confusing, is overwhelming. And as an operations manager, I should find a way to solve that problem. So I literally put the skills I learned in class to build the platform
interesting.
to try to see. Okay, we learned project management, supply chain, operations management, systems optimization, and all that. So putting all these things in place helped me actually build that platform. So I'm looking at how I can optimize the process of people finding opportunities, finding support, finding verified information to be able to make more informed decisions. You know, studying abroad is possible for anyone, anywhere. The only reason why you can't achieve that is because you don't have the right information. You know, so I figured if my wife could leave Nigeria to come study in the US without spending any money, then anyone can do it, right? It's not like we were exceptional. We just were dedicated to our work, and we did some things right. Yeah, she always put her work out there, and that laid the foundation for these opportunities she had. She always was out there trying to find opportunities, joining communities, giving to societies, and telling the world about her work. And that's how she found that offer.
Mm,
So it's not like we we applied for a scholarship and got a scholarship. No, it was through referrals. It was through a professor referring her to another professor, and then another professor sharing another opportunity that was available, and she applied and was interviewed by the
wow.
professor and other candidates, but she was the most qualified.
Amazing. That's the power of community.
Yeah,
Wow.
her experience it was like her experiences were designed for that opportunity.
Hmm.
And that professor could find these experiences online when she looked at her profile on LinkedIn and even did a Google search and saw some of the articles she had published, and they were in line with what she was working on. And that's how she had that upper hand and got
Wow.
the assistantship offer. You know?
It's very interesting that you're talking about this. I love how you explained everything. And it just tells me the power of visibility. Is one thing to be doing something great, is another thing to let people see the greatness that you are offering. Like now
Yes.
that you mentioned that the professor had to check her out on LinkedIn, went for her articles, Googled her, and found what interested the professor. I just imagine there are a lot of greatness. There are a lot of people with great, doing great things, but they are not putting it out there. They're not being visible. Nobody's seeing what they are doing.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'm really big on personal branding. It's
Hmm.
something I try to on my own, help people do. Some people even pay me to help them, design their personal brands, come up with uh, a day-to-day plan of how they can build and grow their personal brands. It's about storytelling, right? So
Right.
you just have to tell your story in the best way possible in your own voice.
Hmm.
You know, if you let someone else tell your story, they will tell it from their perspective. So you have to tell it from your perspective. You have to be honest. You have to be real. You have to show data to back it up and evidence. And the rest will be history.
Hmm.
That works for everybody. It's not just about the field you're in. It really doesn't matter. It's about you're putting your work out there. You're telling a story about your journey, and you're hoping that this story will inspire someone else or create an opportunity for you or give you access to certain communities. And you're just basically trying to add value, right, to our society. And
Right.
that creates an opportunity for others, creates an opportunity for you. And that's how the world becomes a really, really amazing place for you.
Absolutely. Nice one. Nice. So, I love how you talked about personal branding because coming from an operations manager is like personal branding is like a side of marketing. I wasn't expecting it from you, but it shows how vast you are in everything. Awesome. But you
Yeah,
didn't talk to us about
I started Maxify in 2019.
okay.
And the reason why I built the company was I felt there was a gap in premium technology solutions,
Hmm.
technology services and solutions in Nigeria. And I was determined to build a world-class technology company. So I started mine, and initially when I started Maxify, it was just me, right? I was the digital marketer, I was the HR, I was the
Yeah.
graphics designer. In fact, it was just a few years ago that I hired a graphics designer. I've been doing the graphics myself, and it's self-taught, right?
Hmm.
I just read books, I watch videos, I learn a skill, and then I put it into my business, and that's how I grew the company. So I have a level of understanding of what marketing is like and how important it is. And it's not just about your product, it's also about you, right? So people pay for goods and services. Uh, they buy products that they love the owners. So
True.
if I don't like you, I'm not buying the product from you. So first you have to like the owner, you have to trust the owner, and then you trust that he's putting out something, it's going to be really nice. So
Absolutely.
that's how I built Maxify. And when we started, we wanted to build software solutions for businesses, right? So, and provide technology solutions. So I had to learn how to build websites, and I was building WordPress websites. I was building Wix and all these web builders. I was using them to build websites for organizations. And for the first 1 year, the whole of 2019, we had absolutely no customer,
Hmm.
no customer. And then in 2020, the pandemic hit and it was worse. So we had a shutdown, a lockdown. So basically, I would say it was 2021 when we really started doing business.
I see.
So in 2021, we started looking for people to build websites for. At the point, I was not getting customers. So I had a package for that. I will build a website for you for absolutely free. And if you like
Like
it,
it?
then you get to pay. So
Wow.
if you don't like it, you just keep it, you
Wow.
know? Yeah. So I looked inward. I started with my friends who had businesses, and I was like, hey, let me
Building a
build this
website.
website for your company. You
Hmm.
don't have a website. I can build it for you for free, no cost, you know? So they will be like, okay, no cost. I'll say, yeah, no cost. This is my gift to you. If you like it, you pay. If you don't like it, just keep it.
Mm.
Okay. And that's how I built the first one. I built the second one. I built the third one. And then I had three products now to show customers that I had built something. So I had a portfolio, and that laid the foundation for the next jobs and the next jobs and the next jobs, you know?
Wow. That was a
And that's
brilliant
how,
model.
yeah. And that's how we leveraged on that until we started getting jobs from people in the UK. We started getting jobs from people in Canada, in the US, and we started building these websites for organizations and individuals. And that's how we grew to where we are now, where we have 12 employees, you know.
Amazing.
So that's the Maxify story.
Wow. What a story. How you maximized the opportunities and your skills. Wow. I love it. Love it. Now you have 12 employees scattered in Nigeria or in different part of the world.
You know, for now, we just have employees in Nigeria scattered across different states,
Okay.
Abuja, Lagos, Abeokuta, Aba. We have in Benue, Makodi. We have scattered across the country, basically.
Yeah.
And most of them work remotely.
Interesting. That's another advantage that I think technology has given to us. I was saying that internet is like the cheapest leverage anyone can have, the
Absolutely.
cheapest leverage in the history of mankind. Like you can do a lot now on the online. You can do a whole lot online. This podcast, I've interviewed about 60 people. I don't think I've met up to five of them physically.
Yeah, but that's your network, right?
That's the network. That's
And that's your
the
net worth.
exactly. And we've built these relationships. The beautiful thing about the podcast is for everyone I've spoken to, I can tell you that I have a relationship with them.
Hmm.
At the point of contacting them and saying, "Oh, okay, would you like to speak on my podcast?" The relationship has started. At the point where they agree that, okay, I'm coming, relationship has started. Some reach out to me and say, "I want to come on your podcast. Like, I want to speak." Relationship has started. So these I can say these are my friends. I have their
Yeah,
phone numbers now. We talk, we chat. But these things were not available 10, 15 years ago.
no, they weren't.
Yeah. Okay.
They weren't.
Interesting. So
And
okay, you want to say something?
yeah, and that goes for even skill building, right?
Yeah.
It goes for skill building, it goes for career acceleration, for it goes for even trying to get promotions, it goes for getting jobs, it goes for learning anything. You know, the only thing you really need is the will, the internet, and the device, right? So
Yeah.
if you really don't know what courses to even learn to actually get a certain skill, you can go to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, I want to learn this. What, give me a list of courses that I should, you know, things I need to learn. I need to give you a comprehensive list. You know,
Yeah.
you can even ask that product to say, "Hey, give me links to YouTube videos that teach XYZ." It will. You know, you just click, go to YouTube, watch free videos, and learn skills. And the next thing, boom, you're solving a problem, and the
Right.
next thing, because you're solving a problem, people are paying for this problem to go away, and you have cash flow, right? So, and then you find yourself in a place where you're financially stable, and then you are so wealthy that you're now giving back, you know.
Hmm.
So that's the power of the internet today.
That's the
Just
power
how
of the internet.
we've been talking for so long since last year, and we're now on this podcast having this conversation, but it's because of the internet, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I know so much about you, you know so much about me, but we've not even met. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
we just
so
have to leverage that to our advantage. That's it.
honestly such a great time to be alive. I'm really excited about what technology is doing. When we're talking about building website for free, during COVID, when COVID happened, I was idle and I started building my website. I had zero knowledge. I was from one YouTube video to another YouTube video. I would
Uh-huh.
WordPress, started blogging, started creating websites. I put my picture. I was so excited. I logged into www.pollardare.com. I could see myself. I was doing that, making mistakes. Then I launched the website, shared it with my friends, and like, oh wow, you're online now.
Mhm.
But now, in just 5 years, you don't even need to go through those struggles. There's vibe coding now where you can create almost any kind of app without with zero or low development knowledge. It's just an
Yeah,
amazing time to be alive. Thank you for
absolutely.
sharing all that. I really love what you talked about personal branding. I'm very big on personal branding because there's so much noise out there right now. And in the middle of that noise, you also need to be available. You need to be visible because I feel like the world has changed and the best known we always beat the best. The best known
Absolutely.
we always beat the best. I always share
Absolutely.
this illustration. When we moved to this place almost 3 years ago, I was searching for a barber to help with haircut for my boys.
Yeah.
And the closest one I found it on Google. And the closest one was like 15 minutes drive. We went there for a couple of times. I didn't really enjoy the service. It wasn't perfect, but we were just tolerating it. And it was expensive. So
Yeah.
maybe after 6 months, went for some, I don't know what I was going to do, just doing some grocery shopping, like 2 minutes away from the house. Then I saw one barber shop just there, hiding just 2 minutes from the house. They are
Mm.
not online. Nobody knows what they are doing. So we tried. Fantastic service, good
See.
job, lower cost, but nobody knows them. So I told
Mhm.
the guy, you are doing a very great job, but you are losing a lot of potential customers. You are leaving money on the table because you are not anywhere. People are no longer sitting offline. Most activities are happening online. Why should I come to this area, this new neighborhood, and Google barber shop closest to me, and I'm finding something 15 minutes away? Then we're like, oh, thank you. How do we go about it? I said, well, it's not hard. Just Google my business. You can start with that. And
Mhm.
I think he did. So branding visibility is so important. I just had to say that from I think it was your story that triggered that. And thank you for sharing.
Thank
So
you.
you recently joined Amazon. I'm really curious because your story is so inspiring. In less than 2 years in the US, already you are looking like you've been here all your life. See the way you are talking, so cool, so calm. You're almost looking like a black American. And
Thank you.
you now work with Amazon through the Amazon Pathway program. I'm really curious. I would like you to speak about that. How did you get that opportunity and what's it about?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that question. It's something I'm really excited about, and I feel very fortunate for this opportunity. So, this is actually after my first year at South Dakota State University. I I wanted to go for internship for summer 2025, and I started looking for opportunities. So when I first came to the US, I used to joke with my friends when I started my program that I don't think I want to do internships for any unknown organization, you know.
Mhm.
So I made a list. I made a list of 10 organizations, and it was basically organizations like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Tesla's and all that. So yeah, but I guess this was the power of affirmation
Mm.
working in my favor. So I went to all their websites, I went to their career portals, and I was trying to find opportunities for the summer of 2025. This was last year, right? So I found some, I started applying, I started getting rejections. I started applying and applying and applying. And I also went to Amazon's website, and then I saw the Pathways program. I read about it and I realized, oh, this is an elite program by Amazon to actually hire and train the next generation of leaders within Amazon. So this was really interesting to me, and it was designed for people who are actually studying for their MBAs or studying for their masters in operations management. So all for veterans. So as a graduate student here at South Dakota State, I now put in an application, worked on my resume, did everything I need to do, put in the application. And after that, the minute you submit your application on their portal, you're expected to take an assessment. So the assessment is broken, I think, into 4 different parts where they will assess you in 4 different levels or 4 different areas. You will do that all at once, right? So I did the assessment. It took me a few hours, and then I was done. And this was, I think, in September. And in November, I got an email congratulating me that I had scaled through the first phase, and I had another phase, which was face-to-face interviews, which will be another 4 hours with two different operation managers. So I'll be meeting with an operations manager and a senior operations manager, and we'll be having interviews with these 2 guys. So the beauty about Amazon is that they assign you with a recruiter who's meant to prepare you for the interviews.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, we had multiple sessions, preparatory sessions, to ask questions. They gave us tips on how to prepare, things to learn, and all that.
More like they really want you to succeed.
Yeah, actually, that's the goal, for you to succeed. So if you have questions, you send them an email, they respond very quickly, and they prepare you for that interview. So after a few weeks, I was now given an option to choose a date I wanted within a certain range, which I did, and they scheduled me for that day. I had 2 interviews. The first one, before the interview, I had to do a writing sample to write about one of their Amazon 16 principles, leadership principles. And I wrote about it, and that's how Scholar came into play, because the question was, when was a time you actually innovated, you simplified and innovated? So I was like, okay, during Scholar, I actually simplified the process and I innovated. So I wrote about Scholar, and they were really excited about it. So when I went in for the interviews, the first was with the operations manager. I had very interesting conversations with him. And the beauty about these interviews was that it wasn't like an interview. It was like a conversation. We were basically just having a conversation, and they were using my responses to assess who I am, my experiences, the kind of how I approach things, how I leverage on data to solve real life problems. And it was more like all my life experiences laid the foundation for me to be able to give valuable responses, So I have been managing people. I have built things myself. I have had encounters with customers, and Amazon is big on customer obsession, right? So they want to know how obsessed you are with the customer, how you've solved very difficult problems. So this laid the foundation for the entire conversation, and I eventually finished the first interview. Before the first was done, the next senior operations manager joined the meeting, and the first one left, and it was just 2 of us, and we continued. That was now on another level, where he also asked me a series of questions and we had conversations. And after that, they told me, they will get back to me on their decision, and I just told them thank you, and that was the end of the meeting.
Hmm.
So immediately after the call, I sent an email to the recruiter the next day. Just, appreciation, thank you for all your support and all that. And the next day, boom, I got the offer.
Oh wow. The offer
Yeah,
came, your dream company. No,
man.
your story is just it's so mind blowing and interesting. Like you went there to tell them your true life story, and your true life story happened to be what they were looking for. And that's why I'm always
Absolutely.
encouraging people to try new things, to explore new things, because it's not about what you are likely to get from the new things you are trying. The experience alone is a game changer. Now, some of those things you talked about would have been very stressful if you needed to start thinking and trying to lie, but you're just telling them about how you built Scholar.
Yeah,
Scholar, for example, is a true life story. It's not a big deal. You are speaking from your own perspective, from your experiences, and they will be like, oh, wow. So that's how you joined Amazon.
yeah, you know. And I I just I was having a conversation with them like I was just having fun.
Yeah,
To
you're
me, I
just
was just having
no
fun. Like this
pressure.
is exactly.
Yeah.
This is my life. I'm just telling you who I am, what I've done, the challenges I've faced. And in fact, they asked me what was the biggest challenge I faced
Hmm.
while building Scholar. And I said, the biggest challenge is when we had to pull down the first version completely and
Hmm.
build something different after spending months to build what we've built.
Hmm.
So it was like, really? I said, yeah. So what was the reason? I said, yeah, the customers. We did another survey and we realized that what we built was not what the customers wanted. So
Wow.
it's we're not building for ourselves.
Yeah. And there's no way you could talk about that if you had not experienced it. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no
There's no
way.
way.
There are some things
There's
that you
no way.
can't even lie about. You just
Nah,
you needed to have been there. Yeah. And I'm sure that would have really won their heart. Like this is because in that story you just shared now, you touch about excellence, how
mm,
you are really about excellent service. Then you talk about customer obsession.
yeah.
Like you could have said, well, we will convince our customers to use it, but the customers were not, they didn't like it. Okay, what do you guys want? We are going to build you, we're going to build for you what you really
Mhm.
want. And those are the things that we blow their minds and like, oh, wow, this guy,
Yeah.
customer obsession, excellence always, and all that. Wow. Thank you. I'm just
Exactly.
learning for the first time that Amazon hiring team, they prepare you to pass the interview.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Incredible.
To prepare you. They have office hours sessions. You want to
Wow.
join, fine. You don't want to join, that's your issue. But they are there. They are going to turn up every single week or every single day
To
on those
prepare you.
sessions, and people are joining. Other applicants are joining and asking questions, and they are very happy to answer. You
Hmm.
know, they give you resources, access to so many resources to read and all that, you know. So they basically line you up to succeed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's just that's
That was
something.
a shock. It was a shock for me too. Like, really? You
It
guys
was,
want me to succeed? Then how can I fail?
how can I fail?
How can I fail?
Exactly.
No?
How
Yeah.
can I fail? Why should I fail with all this
I
support?
I did so much work preparing. Um, they already told us the interview was going to be based on the 16 leadership principles of Amazon. So
You
uh, it was going to be scenario based. Tell me a time when you displayed maybe leadership principle one, which is option or customer obsession. When did you display you were obsessed with the customer? And I had a perfect story. I had multiple stories.
Multiple, because you've tried your hands on different things
Yeah,
over the
you
years.
know,
Amazing.
and failure is sometimes a mentor, right?
Hmm.
So I believe that if you allow your failures to become a mentor to you, then you will always achieve personal growth,
Yeah, absolutely.
because you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your failures, and you
Hmm.
get all the lessons learned, you put them down, and you improve on your approach, your strategy, and you just keep growing, you know. And
Wow.
some people just want to work with people who have failed and still have the heart to do it
To
again.
continue. Yeah.
Yeah,
It takes a different level of mental strength to continue failing and still trying to keep up and do something new. So, and like you said, failure can be a mentor, honestly. And I like your story. I'm enjoying the conversation, honestly.
thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Because you live life forward, but you can only connect the dots backward. When you started Maxify back in Nigeria, 2019, 2018, I'm not sure where you were, but I don't know if you knew that you were going to be in the US 5 years or 6 years after. But
No idea.
no idea. And you started all these things. You were building something amazing for yourself. You didn't even make money in the first 2 years. But look at where those experiences have led you. And you were just sharing your story, like true life story. And the thing about true life stories, you don't need to lie about them. You don't need to be pressured
Nah.
about them. You're just going to be sharing them. Wow. Okay. Looks like we've been talking for too long.
It's been fun.
You've answered all my questions. I don't have any further questions to ask you. I'm not going to ask any more questions. Thank you so much, Teso, for being a thriving immigrant. Thank you for letting your light shine. Thank you for sharing everything you've shared today. I've learned so much from your story. And if you are listening to me for the first time or you've not subscribed to the Thriving Immigrant Podcast, please subscribe and let's take this message to let's let's share this message with more people. People need to hear this kind of stories because just like Teso mentioned, we are doing remarkable things globally and you need to hear about it so that you too can get inspired. And on this note, so before I let you go, Teso, somebody may be listening to you right now and is like, okay, I need someone to help me with my application. Is that what Scholar does? Are you accepting new clients?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why we built Scholar is we are trying to create a peer-driven social platform for the study abroad community. And our goal is to literally connect aspiring scholars with current international students
Oh, I see.
so that they can now serve as a resource person, a mentor, share valuable resources, and also provide one-on-one guidance.
Beautiful.
So that's what we've built. We have
Okay.
a forum where people ask questions and get answers on Scholar. We have an opportunities hub where we source, we vet, and then we post opportunities. Currently, we have over 1,000 opportunities posted from
Wow.
scholarships, grants, internships, fellowships, and admission information. And we just launched a new feature called
Okay.
the Mentors.
Right.
And these are current or past international students like you, like me, like other guys who are willing to give back to the
The
study abroad
community.
community. And we are, for now, we have 13 international students that have signed up to become mentors.
Oh,
And
interesting.
they set up their availability times because we know how it is, how we can be unavailable. So you literally set up your availability time and people can go there, book a session with you. They can get on a call, ask you questions, and you just provide step-by-step guidance. I'm currently mentoring two people at the moment,
Okay.
and we have sessions After each session, we schedule the next session like that. So I'm helping them work on their profiles, resume, and all that, so that they can actually achieve uh, the dream of studying abroad.
Wow.
And whoever wants to join is completely free. You can just visit scholar.com, create a free account. You can sign up with Google, which is really fast, and create your account, join the community, ask questions, find a scholar. You can find a scholar who's studying in the country you want to go. And even sometimes you find someone who's studying in a university and in a course that you want to study. So
Hmm.
that's the best person to guide you, right? So
I
we
love
have
what you
scholars from the
did.
US, UK, Russia, Australia. We don't have Canada yet.
You don't have Canada yet? Okay. I will look
Yeah,
into that for you guys.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, this is something we've built. We have over 1,000 users already, and it's really really amazing. It's doing amazing work.
It is. It is. You are solving a very interesting problem. And, as an immigrant, there are so many things that can shock you. There are so many potential mistakes that you are likely to make. But if you have someone to guide you, even before landing, you have no idea how easy your journey will be. So thank you
Absolutely.
for creating the platform. Is there like a mobile app or just only on
Yeah,
URL?
for now it's a web app, and
Okay.
we're currently building the mobile app, which will probably be launching in September.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. This is where we call it a day. Thank you so much, Teso, for coming once again. People can follow you on LinkedIn, right?
yeah, absolutely. Teso Hulu,
Yes. Look for Teso Ulu on LinkedIn. Follow him, and I'm sure he'll be glad to connect with you.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you, Paul, for having me. I really had fun, and if you ever find your way into the US, please just call me and let's just hang out.
no problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So, on this note, everyone, stay thriving till I come your way again.